My name is Nicole Bailog, and I'm a senior from South Riding, Virginia, majoring in materials science and engineering. Through my research and internship experiences, I aim to be an impact maker, pushing the boundaries of what we know about high-temperature ceramics for various applications. This drive and interest led me to an internship with NASA Langley Research Center. I serve as the ambassador chair for Purdue University's Materials Advantage chapter, aiding the department in introducing interested students to our major and providing tours of our facilities. I've also served as both a Boiler Gold Rush International team supervisor and team leader, and I'm president of the Purdue Ski and Snowboard Club. I'm pleased to introduce Dr. Jason Jenny, who is being recognized as an outstanding materials engineer by Purdue's School of Materials Engineering. For more than 25 years, Dr. Jenny has been a key player in the LED and lighting arena, and his work has literally changed the light around us. In his role as operations manager, global operations for Wolfspeed, a leading company making wide bandgap semiconductors, Dr. Jenny oversees annual capital expenditures of over $500 million and selects key technologies to invest in equipment and manufacturing capabilities for silicon carbide used in electronics. He was a leader on several $1 million in DoD contracts for developing silicon carbide for semiconductors, demonstrating 2-inch, 3-inch, and 100mm diameter single crystal growth of silicon carbide for lighting and high-power electronics. He was also responsible for developing the business product line for clear gemstone simulants, Moissanite, with Cree, as well as the research and development for silicon carbide for semiconductor applications, having established silicon carbide fabrication and growth facilities in the US and abroad. Dr. Jenny holds 18 US patents, has published 33 papers, and referenced conference proceedings, having been cited over 1,000 times in literature. In recognition of research, development, and production that has brought advanced wide bandgap semiconductors to global markets, the School of Materials Engineering is proud to name Jason Jenny as one of Purdue's outstanding materials engineers.
It is often said that if you want to hear God laugh, make a plan. That has been true much of my life. I knew I wanted to be a scientist from the time I was little, but I do not know necessarily why. I received some direction through my relationship with my then scoutmaster and now one of my oldest friendships, Tark Shabati. Tark was a material science professor at Cal State Northridge. His guidance and inspiration led me down the path of materials engineering. I actually wanted to be a professor of material science, just like my friend Tark. In retrospect, my desire to pursue innovation is likely tied to my dad and grandfather, who were innovators. And the famous railroad engineer, Robert Stephen, lies along my mom's lineage. For the Purdue part, why Purdue for a kid from Los Angeles? Once again, happenstance stepped in with my mom's aunt and uncle traveling up the Pacific coast, suggesting that if I wanted to be an engineer, I should look at Purdue. That was my junior year of high school. Both Uncle Colin and Aunt Marge were proud Boilermakers, along with 3 of their 4 children. So I was accepted to freshman engineering, and that was it for me. During the selection of engineering schools freshman year, the only school I applied to was material science. What really drew me to the discipline was the fact that it was at the intersection between engineering, chemistry, and physics, and I enjoyed working in that space. There was a lot of very interesting work going on, but I didn't know the specialty that I was going to pursue. I found that out in Professor Vest's class. She taught all about electronic materials, and I was hooked. That was the moment I heard innovation calling my name. I went to Carnegie Mellon for my PhD, where I studied the electrical and optical properties of vanadium-doped silicon carbide. Little did I know that I would be working in silicon carbide for the next 30 years. My initial career was focused on R&D, where I earned 12 patents in silicon carbide growth and manufacturing. The main thrust of my work was to develop and manufacture a high-purity semi-insulated silicon carbide for the next generation of radio frequency base stations, leading to the current 5G deployment. After my initial semi-insulating work, I was promoted to lead scientist in the core of Cree, silicon carbide growth. Our efforts included the development of our current generation of substrate materials for electric vehicle charging and power transfer. While still in research and development, I was asked to move over to our leading edge LED operations to facilitate growth in that area. This opportunity enabled me to travel to Asia over the next 10 years, including a 2-year expatriate assignment with my family in Hong Kong. While I was no longer in the lab, I certainly was using my Purdue engineering tools to solve whatever problems I was facing, from dealing with suppliers' yield challenges to the importation of goods into China to deploying the next generation LED fabrication into our factory. Whenever there was an issue, I would step into the breach and work to resolve the problems with the knowledge that my background would help me. In my 2 years, there was at least a half a dozen times where I woke up in my dorm room in China and found myself on a flight to Japan or the Philippines or Taiwan that evening. I really enjoyed the thrill and excitement. While I have attended other universities and received additional degrees, the basis of everything I do is rooted in my Purdue education, the history, the standard, the legacy. Very few people know the other schools, but everybody knows I went to Purdue, down to my Purdue 92 license plate. The Raleigh-Durham area is so rich with universities, especially at a company co-founded by 6 North Carolina State graduates. But being a Boilermaker has always set me apart in a very real and special way. I am truly humbled to receive this award from an institution that I love so dearly. Hail Purdue.